Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin. All right, so we're basically still looking at the same thing we were looking at yesterday, in my opinion. I still have my target of around .248 or at 248, should I say. I have a limit order, so when it goes down, it's going to buy up .248. I also bought 294, so if we continue to go up, then I have a position right here as well. But right now we're looking at resistance, and it looks like we came in and solidified that resistance again and getting rejected on it, heading to the downside. Like I said, I still have my limit order here. I was looking at the volume yesterday, and the volume's still pretty low. It looks like some red volumes coming in, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I'm still thinking that it might go down and go to 248. That's why I have my limit order there, and that's why I want to buy there. I'm also looking at the support right here. It kind of looks like we're forming a little falling wedge pattern. I think if we break this resistance line going to the upside, then that's when we can start targeting .294. Like I said, there's this resistance line in general. If we could break that, then we could start getting more bullish. I thought that's what we were doing, because I had this trend line, maybe something more like this. This morning when I woke up, I saw like these little candles kind of pushing through. I got a little sick last night again, so I stayed home today. But yeah, I fell asleep, and then when I woke up, it was starting to come down again. I was like, okay. I was thinking about making a video at this, or I was wanting to wake up and make a video, but I just felt like crap. So in my opinion, I think it's kind of pushing to the downside right now. I'm still looking at this target. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and move that trend line, because I noticed that the the wick came up all the way over here. So let's go ahead and move that trend line a little bit up, something like that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it looks like it is still holding this resistance, and resistance right here. Then, like I was also saying, it looks like we're kind of forming a falling wedge pattern. In general, these falling wedge patterns are technically a little bullish, meaning that all we have to do is just break that top line, and then we can start coming up here. But it's not guaranteed to break to the upside. Sometimes they break to the downside, especially if we're in like a bear run. So we're gonna have to wait and see. What I kind of want to happen is, let's go ahead and pull this line down a little bit more. I wouldn't mind if it continued to bounce in between these two trend lines. Boom, 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 boom. Hit my limit order. Then we got to bounce to the upside. That's what I'm kind of hoping. Like I've been talking about, or like I kind of talk about I've been talking about in my videos. We're watching these Fibonacci retracement levels, and I like watching these levels because a lot of the times they'll act as support and then act as resistance. Right here, we came down, filled that limit order. It actually went down a lot further, but right at this area, in general, we filled the limit order and then started pushing back to the upside. And look where it got resistance at .294, that Fibonacci retracement level that we're looking at. Here's how I got the Fibonacci retracement levels, in case you're new. We had a big run. We started having trouble up here, pushing to the upside. So I kind of got suspicious, and I was thinking, is this the top? When you get suspicious and you think it's the top, you can get the Fibonacci retracement tool, drag from the bottom of that run, and then drag to the upside. You see, like, okay, so let's zoom out and let me show you how, like, I kind of am trying to get the bottom, because, okay, so let's zoom out. Look at what happened. So we had this big run, and then we came down, and this is kind of like the start of this big run, and that's where I'm getting the bottom of it. So that's where I got the bottom, and then at the top, obviously, it's where we think it might be topping out. So I'm not topping out for good, just for now, because we can't just run up and do millions of percentages. You know what I mean? I think from the bottom down here to the top was 378%, which is a pretty sweet run. So we can't just run up forever, guys. We have to get corrections, and it's healthy for the market. A lot of the times we'll get a big run up, and then we'll get like a 50% correction. Boom, get bounces. I really like that 50%. That's why I did the 23, the 38, and the 50% when we started heading down. I took profits and started setting up limit orders at these levels. We filled all my limit orders, and then we were bouncing in between them. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Like I was talking about, they act as support and resistance. So we came down, filled this limit order, support, resistance, and then we didn't come back down, but in general, bouncing resistance, right? This between this level and this level has been really good. Bought, sold, bought, sold, bought. So, and I still have that position right there because when it comes up here, I might either sell it or I might let it try to run up. The way I kind of see if I want to sell it or not is, okay, so like right here, let's go into like the most recent time price action. Like I was saying, we came down, filled this limit order at oh no, we haven't. Oh yeah, we did. We filled this limit order at .248. I was talking about that, how I had a limit order right here, and then when it started breaking it, going to the downside, I put another limit order right here. We got that filled. Then it started bouncing to the upside. We hit .294, acted as resistance. Like I was talking about, these Fibonacci retracement levels act as support and resistance. We got resistance on there and started pushing to the downside. That's when I sold it, when we broke this trend line right here. So let's zoom in, and like I was showing you, this is how I kind of, decide if I want to take profits. So we had support. We were on the 1 hour time frame. We had this trend line going to the upside. We started testing this trend line and we started breaking it. The first sign that to take profits is we hit my target. We hit that Fibonacci retracement level of 294, and that's what I was looking for. If you go back and watch a couple of my videos, or I think it was probably like maybe 3 or 4 days ago, I was saying so we hit the limit order, but if we start breaking this going to the upside, I'll be targeting .294. We came up, hit the target, and I was thinking maybe it's going to continue to go up. So I looked at the trend line. We had support, drew this trend line going to the upside. If it breaks that trend line, that's going to be the second signal that I might want to sell and try to set up a limit order back down at the 61%, the 61% .248 approximately. And so that's what I did. I took profits right here when we started breaking to the downside, and then I set up the limit order. So I bought here, sold here, aka now I have a bigger amount of money that I could buy a bigger position when it goes to the downside. And that's kind of how I'm approaching this. I've been trying to like swing trade off this stuff. I'm also trying to accumulate those. So like I didn't really want to sell right here. I was hoping that it would continue to push to the upside, but we broke that trend line, and I just figured that it's probably more than likely that we're gonna go to the downside, especially because we're still underneath this trend line right here. And like I've been saying, until we break this trend line going to the upside, then I'm fairly confident on being able to hit targets going to the downside because we are in a downtrend, if that makes sense. So like this morning I was saying it looked like we were kind of breaking it. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not going to get my limit order filled. And no, it actually started getting rejected and started hanging down again. So that's what I'm thinking. There is something that's kind of interesting going on right now, though. We have a low, and then we have a low, and then I'm wondering if we are, like, what's happening here. Are we going to get support and create a higher low? Because we're getting lower lows right there, higher low. But let's see. I think I'm still looking at .248 though. Honestly, like I was saying, I'm hoping that it kind of forms this falling wedge. We hit the limit. We hit my limit order, and then we can break out and then start hitting up to .294 in a falling wedge pattern. Usually, when we break out going to the upside, the targets are the previous resistances and ultimately the top of the pattern. So we have the top of that pattern right here. If we break out going to the upside, it would be something like that, as well as if we can get support on this level, like I've been talking about, the next Fibonacci retracement level would be the other target. So it'd be the target from the falling wedge pattern that lines up as well with the Fibonacci retracement target as well. And just like I did over here, just because, like, let's say we start breaking out to the upside right here, and then we hit this target, doesn't mean, like, just because we hit this target isn't going to be my first signal to sell. What I'm going to do is, what I'm going to do is wait. I'm going to watch the trend line, and if we start breaking it, then I'm going to sell it, because it's potentially this could have happened. we could have formed this trend line, and it could have kept going up and continued to bounce on it. So boom, boom, boom. If we would have got support right here and broke that Fibonacci retracement level, I would have started targeting this level. So hopefully that makes sense, that I kind of look for a couple things to tell me if I should sell or not. What else are we looking at? I think that's about it. Like I said, we're still kind of doing the same thing we were yesterday. I just, I don't know. This has kind of formed, I think, since yesterday, is this support, and this support looks like more of a falling wedge pattern that's kind of formed. Let's see if we can, like I said, I'm hoping that we can fill my limit order and then break to the upside. But if it doesn't, that's okay. Like I said, from this position to this position, that made me a little bit of profits. And if we start going up, then we'll see what happens. But in general, I think it's a good thing bouncing in between these trend lines, because it's kind of predictable. And then if we go lower, like if we break .248, the next spot that I'll be looking at is .184. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but it might. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's not guaranteed that we break to the upside. It's possible that we go down even further, but yeah. So the next Fibonacci retracement level would be at .148. There's also this bottom. There's like, it wicked down to like .20, like .20 pretty much, and then the bodies are down here at .222. Those are other potential levels that if we went to the downside, it could hold support right here or right here, and we're not guaranteed to go all the way down. Just trying to go through the different scenarios and be prepared for what could potentially happen next. Yeah, but we are holding. We do have this little support line right here. If we break that support line though, then we might get a little more confident on either this level or some of these previous bottoms over here. So yeah, let's see. I think that's about it though. I think that about does it. Let's see. I just want to kind of go through these time frames real quick just to see if there's anything else. We're still underneath the 9 moving average. Let's go ahead and delete these real quick. We don't, just for now, because we'll just end on the 9 moving average. But like I've been talking about, we have this 9 moving average right here, something like that. When we break below it, it acts as resistance. Boom, resistance, 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 and pushes it to the downside. When we break above it, like over here, let's see, it was probably more something like over here. We break above it, then we start getting support on it, bouncing to the upside. Support, support, support. We start testing it and we break it. And that was probably another signal that I was looking at over here when I decided to take profits, is on the daily time frame, we broke the 9 moving average right there. Ever since then, we were getting resistance on it. When we break that 9 moving average, that might be a signal to sell. And in general, you could use the 9 moving average on all the time frames, but I like the daily because it's like the strongest. So like right here, we broke below it, resistance, 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 been pushing us to the downside ever since we broke that 9 moving average right there. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Hopefully, we have this 9 moving average, this blue line right here. We broke below it. Ever since then, we're getting resistance, 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 pushing us to the downside. What I want to see us do is kind of go sideways for a little bit, have the 9 moving average kind of follow us, and then us be able to break through it like a wall, as opposed to it being on top of us and having to break through it like a roof. It's still possible to break through the roof, but I think it's more likely and it's easier for it to do it to break going sideways. A lot of times what will happen is we'll continue to go sideways, the 9 moving average will follow us, and then we'll just kind of break it like kind of low key, as they say. I don't usually use that word, but it'll just kind of like break it, and it won't even pop right away, but then we start getting support on it, and then that's when it starts popping. You know what I mean? We start doing something like that. I don't know if it's going to do it right here, but that's what we want to look for. We want to keep our eye on the 9 moving average, especially on the daily time frame. And like I was saying, if you want to, you can technically go to like the 1 hour time frame and use this 9 moving average too. I mean, look at right here. We broke above the 1 hour 9 moving average, getting support on it. Boom, broke to the upside. Once we broke that 9 moving average going to the downside, that's when we got that nice little those red candles. But it's not as long term, because you see how it was like boom and then kind of got support and then went through it again. This didn't really perform. When we broke it right here, it didn't really perform that great. It got a little bit of support, but it didn't really bounce to the upside. That's because if you looked at the other time frames, or look at the next one up, it might not align with that. So like we just because the 1 hour time frame broke above it doesn't mean like on the daily time frame it broke above it. We were underneath that the daily 9 moving average this whole time. So we can have these little swings in the short term, but the daily time frame's a little bit bigger, longer term, should I say. And it's a little bit more reliable. And if we shoot over to the weekly time frame, same thing with like the bigger time frame you get, the stronger it's going to be. So we broke below the weekly 9 moving average right here, resistance, resistance, resistance. You can see right here, we weren't really able to close. This candle kind of closed above it, but we weren't able to really close candles above that 9 moving average. If we would have, that would have been a bullish signal. We've been trapped underneath this 9 moving average on the weekly, and if we shoot over to the monthly, we're still above the monthly. So we're not, I mean, technically we're still above the monthly, which is good, and we want to stay above there. Let's see if we can hold support at this. The monthly 9 moving average is sitting at around 217. So maybe we can stay above here, and maybe like I was talking about, if we break down, we might not go all the way down to .284, and we might be getting support at one of those previous bottoms, and the 9 moving average is sitting at right there. So we might hold support on that 9 moving average is my point. Let's go back to the daily time frame though. Like I said, I think the daily is one to watch, and like I was also saying, you can get these big moves up. You can get nice swings up, even if the bigger time frame saying that we're bearish. You know what I mean? So like on the daily time frame, we can get nice little pops, even though on the weekly or the monthly we're still underneath it. What we want to see is those bigger time frames breaking to the upside though. I think that about does it. Hopefully I explained everything okay. The way you set up the 9 moving average real quick is if you go to indicators over here, we're on tradingview.com. You just go to indicators and you can search for indicators. I have these ones favorited. So let's go ahead and do, I think it's, what is it? Moving average simple. So we just type in moving average simple, boom. You just click that. Let's go ahead and click it. And I also usually have the 180 moving average. Let's go ahead and, so is that the right one? Let's see. 1 second. I think that's the right one. And then, so you just click on it, and then you do the little 3 dots. Let's see, what is it? And then settings. Is it settings? And then you just change it to like 180. 180. This is another one that I usually watch. I don't know why it's not on here. I'm gonna delete that. But I actually have it set up right here. Okay, so yeah, the moving average 180. Okay, so I also look at this 180. I didn't have it on my chart, but the 180 moving average actually looks like it's holding support right here. That's interesting. But yeah, so that's how you do it. You do the indicators and then you do moving average. Is there another moving average of it? Because this one says MA and that one says SMA. Moving average simple. Moving average simple. Is there another moving average? 1 second, sorry. I wonder what this one is. Because I think this is like a built-in one, the MA. Anyways, that's how you kind of do it. I think the simple moving average is the same thing. Let's see. If you come over here, I don't know. I should probably just set up another chart again and kind of go through these things. But like a brand new chart to like get it set up the way I did. I think I haven't watched my tutorial videos in a while. I think I have videos explaining how to do this. But there's a moving average video on my channel. But anyways, that's kind of how you set them up. I have and then also you can do like, if you can save indicator template. If you do this little 4 squares, you can save indicator template. So yeah. But I think that about does it for today, guys. Like I said, it's a lot of the same thing that we were looking at yesterday. It's just a couple different things have changed. Like it looks like we did kind of find support. Let's see. We did get a little bit of support right here and support right there, giving us that little trend line. And then we're still watching this bigger town trend, something like this. Something like that. Boom. So that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully you guys are learning from this channel and kind of following along on tradingview.com. Getting close to 10K subscribers though. If you guys want to hit subscribe, that'd be cool. Also, thank you for the 2 members that have joined. That's awesome. Help support the channel, and that's I appreciate it. Even just watching, whatever. If you guys want to join the members, that's cool. If you want to just watch and subscribe and like the channel, that's cool too. But yeah, if you guys want to watch the last video, check it out right here, and where I talked about that target. And then if you guys are new to trading, check out this playlist. It'll help you get started with some of the indicators and how to get set up on TradingView the way I have my chart set up. All right, if you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck, guys.